Lashley versus Kofi Kingston should be more than a one-off. Edge versus Rollins is pretty much guaranteed and has a favorite to win the men's Money in the Bank bout emerged. Let's check that out and more with things WWE and AEW told us. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Coming out of a hellacious battle at Hell in a Cell against Drew McIntyre, Lashley quickly found out who would be the next likely challenger to his WWE title. In the opening segment, Kingston and Woods came out with Kofi saying he should be the next #1 contender because of the pinfall victory he had picked up over the champion recently. Lashley agreed and even said that he would face Woods inside Hell in a Cell in the main event. Lashley ended up making history as the first person to work Hell in a Cell bouts on consecutive nights. Once the bell rang, Woods put in another amazing performance against the Almighty. He was believable on the offense, and when he was overwhelmed by the champion's raw power, he was the lovable, gutsy underdog. In the end, Lashley made Woods tap out to the Hurt Lock. MVP then got into the cell and locked himself inside with his client and Woods. Lashley kept Woods locked in the submission, and Kingston had to watch his best friend be brutalized. While the bout was great, the post-match action sold this feud. Now Kingston versus Lashley shouldn't be just a one-off bout. WWE could potentially let them go at it once, then cool off, allow Lashley to have a marquee bout at SummerSlam, then return to this. Kingston is one of the greatest baby faces, and there's no doubt that he would be able to put on a series of amazing bouts with Lashley. Unless Brock Lesnar is coming back for an extended feud with Lashley, Kingston should be the next long-term #1 contender. Most agree bringing Samoa Joe back to WWE was a great choice. Joe was unceremoniously let go, but has returned to NXT as William Regal's special enforcer. He mostly stays out of the action, but if someone touches him, all bets are off. Adam Cole would attest that so much, as touching Joe pretty much guarantees a one-way route to getting choked out. In the opening segment of last week's NXT, Cole refused to play by Joe's rules and choose an opponent to fight. After his bout with Carmelo Hayes, he didn't pay much heed to Regal's warning, stating he shouldn't mess around with Joe anymore. Over the night, Joe got involved on a couple of conversations and even had an intense moment with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. While Kross versus Joe is a money match, for now Joe versus Cole needs to happen. The former leader of the Undisputed Era has not had a proper feud since his storyline with Kyle O'Reilly wrapped up. A feud with Joe can have a slow build and allow Cole to be featured in a marquee spot without really getting involved in a championship picture. On last week's SmackDown, Big E and Apollo Crews wrote the next chapter in their feud by facing in a Money in the Bank qualifier. Predictably, Commander Aziz tried to get involved, but he was booted from the Thunderdome. That opened the door for Big E to pick up the win, with him seeming like the favorite to win Money in the Bank. Some of WWE's best briefcase winners are people coming off big storylines. They're on the cusp of moving on to bigger things, but need a shot in the arm to make it. Big E recently lost the IC title to Crews, and his feud with Aleister Black never happened. When separated from Kingston and Woods, there were reports suggesting Big E would be pushed to the main event. He has all the tools to be a marquee star, and the path to greatness should begin at Money in the Bank. On the main roster, Riddle initially struggled to build momentum. For months on end, he wasn't making any progress as a character, but all that changed once he began teaming up with Randy Orton. Orton's character has worked perfectly with the more ridiculous aspects of Riddle's personality. It has made him seem almost endearing, yet his well-intentions may eventually lead to trouble. On last week's Raw, Orton took on John Morrison in a Money in the Bank qualifier. Miz was obviously doing whatever he could to help Morrison. This brought out Riddle in the hopes of evening the odds, but that distraction allowed Morrison to win. Overall, Riddle has become one of the best things about Raw, as his earnestness and goofiness keeps things fresh. His storyline with Randy will make or break his run, and executed correctly, he could be the next big thing on the red brand. Whenever he breaks away from Orton, WWE should consider shaking up his character. From the moment Rollins threatened to break Edge's neck, forcing John Cena to reinstate the Authority, fans have been clamoring for a dream match between Rollins and the rated R superstar. With Edge taking a break from programming after failing to win the Universal title at Mania 37, WWE has slowly but surely built the possibility of Reigns versus Rollins for the gold. While the heel versus heel dynamic isn't something WWE goes for often, the sheer amount of history both men share more than makes up for it. On last week's SmackDown, Rollins spoke to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, where he dropped the megalomania and got serious, stating he deserved to be the #1 contender. The Authority figure said they would take Rollins' claim under advisement, but the Messiah ended up having someone cut him in line. In the main event, Edge returned, taking out Reigns and standing tall as the show went off the air. Just like that, Edge is getting a shot at the gold at Money in the Bank. Rollins will not take kindly to this, as this opens the door for Rollins to interfere in this match. Hopefully WWE will resist the urge to give fans a screwy finish and have Rollins take out Edge after the bout to set up a match for SummerSlam. AEW Dynamite treats fans to great matchups, fun storylines, and wonderful characters on a weekly basis, but over the last few weeks, a concerning trend has seen heels stand tall as the show goes off the air, time and time again. In the main event last week, Kenny Omega defended his title against Jungle Boy. Both had a great bout before Omega put away Jungle Boy with a one-wing angel. After the bout, Christian Cage came out to stop Omega from inflicting more damage. He was taken out by Matt Hardy and Private Party for his troubles, in addition to a double super kick from the Young Bucks. Yet again, fans had to deal with the Bucks and Omega getting heel heat towards the end of the show. At this point, fans will either get burnt out or be unaffected by it. The babyface is eventually overcoming obstacles to a thunderous ovation as one of wrestling's oldest and most effective storytelling devices, and it's not one AEW is using. Since Royal Rumble last year, Drew McIntyre has been involved in the main event. He beat Brock Lesnar for the gold at WrestleMania 36, took on all comers, briefly dropped the title to Randy Orton, won it back, and eventually lost it to Lashley. He has lost his feud to Lashley, but is milling in and around the title scene. While McIntyre has been presented as one of WWE's biggest stars, the fact remains that fans don't know how effectively he can be used by the promotion when there isn't a championship involved. All of WWE's biggest stars have managed to remain relevant and elevate storylines without belts. And now is the time to see if McIntyre is capable of doing this. With Lesnar probably coming back to WWE in addition to a host of other big stars, this is the perfect time to move McIntyre down the card to evolve his character. And these were things WWE and AEW told us. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.